Wednesday, December the 11th. Lake level is about 913 and a half, and ever since it's got cold, they're doing a lot of generating. The lake's dropped quite a little bit. It's about a foot lower than I reported last week. The water temperature, I actually got a chance to go out today. It was about 52 degrees. I picked up my new boat this morning, and I went straight for the lake because I knew once I got down to my house, I live kind of down the bottom of a hill, with 2-3 inches of ice on the driveway. There was no way I was going to get back out. So anyways, I went out and put a couple hours on the boat. Pretty much got the basic break-in done. Now it's ready to go. I didn't even have a fishing rod with me, so I didn't get a chance to do any fishing. And I hadn't been out since our last report, and I don't know of too many people that have. We've had snow and ice, and we've had days it hasn't got above like 16, 17 degrees. But today was pretty nice, and it looks like we've got a real nice day tomorrow, and then maybe a little rain and ice coming in again Friday. But I actually drove over the lake up in the James River a couple days ago, and there's ice in the backs of some of the pockets, so you're going to run into water temperature anywhere from 35 degrees to some, where I put in today was around Kimberling, and it was about 52 degrees there in the afternoon. Now, I really can't tell you what's going on because I hadn't been, but next week I will be able to tell you what I think's going on. And I'm going to get out a couple days this week, especially before this weather comes in again this weekend. But I'm basically going to tell you what few things I'm going to go out and do. Now that water temperature where it is, that wiggle wart bite will stay there, until it gets into the high 40s. So, there'll still be a shallow bite. And if I'm going to fish shallow, I'm going to fish a wiggle wart and crawdad patterns. And last time I was out, I actually caught more fish in the creeks than I did on the main lake points. I caught them on secondary points back in the creeks and from halfway back. And I'm going to throw a wiggle wart, probably a crawdad pattern, something with a little orange on the belly. Like a V38, the brown crawdad, the 37, the natural craw, any one of those is a good one to start with. And as I come to boat docks, I'm going to basically just be searching with the crankbait. And as I get to boat docks, I'm going to pick up a jig and fish probably a 3/8 ounce pig sticker Snowden jig, or maybe even a 3/8 ounce football jig. And I'm going to fish some of the stalls, probably no deeper than 20 foot, but from 20 foot into the bank, and see if I can't locate a few fish. Now the other thing that I'm going to try to do for sure is I'm going to start throwing the Alabama rig and a jerkbait. And I'm going to start out with that Alabama rig on some deeper main lake points, on the bluff ends where I know there's submerged timber. And I'll spend some time with my electronics trying to find out how deep the fish are or the shad. And basically what I'll do is I'll count that Alabama rig down to whatever depth I'm seeing the fish or the shad on my locator. And I'm going to key on a lot of the deep timber on these bluff ends where the main river channel comes up against these points. If that doesn't work, I'm going to go back into some of the secondary points. And some of these same places, what I'll do is I'll mix it up with the jerkbait. And my favorite jerkbait is going to be a Spro. And I'm going to throw probably a Norman Flake, which is like a lavender shad. Or this is another one, it's kind of I think it's called table rock shad. It's got a purple back and a clear belly. Now I'm going to throw this the same place I'm going to throw the A-rig. A lot of it's going to depend on how deep I see the shad and the fish. If I see the fish, 10 or 15 foot, I'm probably going to try the jerkbait. If I'm seeing the fish a lot deeper, I'm going to throw that A-rig and just count it down to that depth. And like I say, if it doesn't work on the main lake points, I'll work my way back into the creeks and try some of the secondary points, especially where the submerged timber. Now with the lake level getting where it is right now, 913 and a half, you're going to see a lot of cedar trees starting to pop up on these main lake points, bluff ends, and into creeks. That's an excellent place to try the jerkbait. You want to cast that jerkbait about 5 or 10 foot past the tree, work it down alongside the tree, let it set maybe 5 to 7 seconds between twitches, and work it back to the boat. Now, the water temperature, you know, where it's still in the 50s like that, fish should be fairly active, so you shouldn't have to let it, you know, let that stick bait dead stick like we do in the dead of the winter. Another thing a person can try is the fish were starting to get grouped up good deep in the centers of these main lake creeks. It, you know, depends where you're at on the lake. Like Beardsley down by the dam, Clevenger, the Indians, if you're around Kimberly, places like Scooter Creek or White's Branch, Fisher Creek, Mill Creek. If you're up in the White River, places like Big Creek and also Mill Creek up there. And what I'm doing is I'm going to go in the centers of these creeks. I'm going to spend, you know, days like now where it's real cold, I'm going to spend some time idling around. If I don't see the birds, I'm going to spend some time idling around out in the center of the creek, following the channel, swinging into some of the secondary points over the submerged timber, and look for the bait and the fish. When I see a good concentration, and probably what I would fish out there would be a drop shot, a little 3-inch gets it in a smoke or a shad color. And on that drop shot, I'm probably going to throw a Chompers. It's kind of a brown purple laminated, or I've got some little hand pours that are real similar to that color. Or I may even try, you know, if I'm seeing a lot of shad, I'll try a little 4-inch Chompers that's a shad color. And if I find a big group of fish, especially fish that what we call a wormy, where you can actually see them going up and down on the electronics, I'll pick up a white spoon or a Rapala ice fishing jig. These ice fishing jigs, I think they weigh about 3/4 of an ounce. The spoon, this is a War Eagle, a 7/8 ounce, but anything from a 1/2 ounce to a 3/4 to a 7/8 ounce on the spoon will work good. And if I can see these fish where they're worming, I'm going to work the spoon or the ice fishing jig right in them or above them. Now what we're going to try to do, if I've said I was going to do this before, is try to get some on the water shots of some of these deep fish, you know, doing this actual worming, and you know, where we can see our lure and stuff and see the fish coming up for it. We're going to try to get some shots. If we can get a good day where the wind's not blowing, we'll try to do some stuff and get it on camera, show you. It's a little bit easier if I can show you on film what we're doing rather than talking about it. You know, looks like next week's supposed to be fairly nice. Most of the ramps, now I know the ramps at Kimberling City, like at Hoy's, it was all clear. The way it faces the sun, it melted most of the snow. The Joe Bald ramp was clear. Now none of the core ramps, you know, the parking lots won't be cleared unless the sun has hit them enough where it's melted. So, I mean, there's a lot of places to get in the water, to get in the lake right now. I didn't have any issues with ice or anything today as far as getting the boat launched. So, if you get a chance, there's really going to be some good fishing the next 3 to 4 weeks. So, till next week, good luck, good fishing.